You mentioned earlier in the conversation that there's a bigger vision outside of kind of this 2D trading card game. Give us a little bit of a sneak peek. How do you move this past a 2D trading card game?
It's very similar to Pokemon. It started out as like a trading card game. I've mentioned before, the main guy on this is a crazy Unreal Engine dev. So we should have a sneak peek of these different characters where, it just becomes something other than a trading card game where you're walking around this world and, Pokemon Go stuff. Like all of that stuff is possible on Bitcoin now with these connected things. That's kind of the vision. The trading card aspect can just be one arm of this project, whereas these champions can become 3D characters, and there's just all sorts of stuff we can do. And we're Pokemon players and we followed all that stuff. They've built some of the roadmap that we're interested in, and it's just like, how do we do this on Bitcoin now?
Champions of the Otherworldly magic. Man, I didn't think I was going to be able to nail that the first time. This project had minted out, I think last week at the time of this recording, 30,000 ordinals at about, I think it was like $7 per. There was an awesome mechanic. It happened on Ordinal's wallet. And man, caught the attention of the Ordinal degens. And maybe it's just the beginning of what Ordinal Gaming has wanted to. I'm sitting here with Miles, who's one of the co-founders of this awesome trading card game. And we're going to go through everything about it and why you should be excited on what's about to happen next. So, Miles, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Jake. Looking forward to it.
I threw a tweet out when I participated in minting some. There was this weird, it felt like almost like a gambling mechanic or like a randomized mechanic where when you click inscribe or mint, and then it just like slid by a bunch of cards and then it ended up on one, almost like Wheel of Fortune. It felt different from every other mint that I had participated in. It had this randomness, which is very similar to what you see on Ethereum with generative mints. Was that something that you guys had planned for with the UI, or is that something that Ordinal's wallet threw in there?
No, we definitely planned for it. I mean, the big thing here is, we initially were trying to work on packs, have like 1 pack, 5 pack, 10 pack, 25 packs. And there was a few issues there. So we ended up just going with the single. But we definitely want that experience of, opening up a pack and not knowing what you're going to get.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever watched, or maybe the audience hasn't, breaks when it comes to cards, right? From sports cards to Pokemon cards to old Digimon cards, right? That random expectation that you might pull a grail in these packs of things that are vintage, usually for those that are, the older ones like Pokemon and stuff like that. But bringing that back into Ordinals, it feels necessary. I'd pointed this out many times before that the current model of decentralized mints, there's 2 things wrong with it. One is that if it's created by a team and it's a decentralized mint, then generally that first team goes and inscribes all the rare ones. So you're kind of stuck with just like picking out. But then second, right, for ones that are partnered like this, it never felt like it was random. It felt like it was just going in some sort of order. Whether this actually went in an order or it was randomized, you guys did a good job at really masking that. Is this why you guys chose Ordinal's wallet? They tend to kind of experiment with these kind of mints and partnerships. Is that why you'd reached out to them to launch on Ordinal's wallet marketplace?
Yeah, definitely. And we've been around a while. So I've had, some connections with Billy, Josh, Harry, those guys over at the team. And it was completely random. That's, was one of our like big, hangups. Like, it's got to be like that. We're, a trading card game. It's not an NFT project. That's a big thing. And Ordinal's wallet's great to work with. We reached out to Magic Eden as well. It just seems like there's a lot of like hoops and stuff to jump through, like filling out these forms, actually getting to talk to someone. Whereas, we can just hit up Ordinal's wallet and I can talk with Harry and Billy, quickly, and we can move. So, and that's kind of a big thing here in the Bitcoin space, especially something like this. How has there not been a trading card game yet? It seems like kind of a layup with, the innovation and the builders in the space. So we wanted to move quickly on it for sure.
When you look at the history of NFTs, the first ever collection is actually a trading card game. If you knew that, Spells of Genesis from 2015 is considered the first, I guess, intentional collection. They built a game out, still exists today, even 8 years later. Shout out to Shaban. That's already some Bitcoin history. I didn't know if you guys were familiar with that or not, but when I saw that, that was exactly the first thing that it reminded me of. Were you guys aware of Spells of Genesis?
Yep. Yeah. We've retweeted a few, old posts from like Hal Finney talking about the card games and things like that. So, yeah, no, we're aware of it. And yeah, the team, we're big into trading card games. We're aware of like some of the hangups and Magic the Gathering. And a lot of these, we've already had some people coming after us about supply, but yeah, all these trading card games kind of have a, history, and they've had some hiccups and stuff. So yeah, we're just getting started and ready to tackle all that stuff.
Yeah, for those that are just listening, Miles even has some collectibles in the background that you could see. So a collector himself. Take us through the history then of the team. How many people are composed of this team? What's the type of experience? You said you've been in the Bitcoin ordinal space since the beginning. Were you in Bitcoin beforehand? Just take us through the history so then we could progress into the game later.
Yeah, I mean, the whole team. I mean, I've been in Bitcoin since 2016-ish. All of them. The main creator is like an Unreal Engine dev. Like that's kind of the end game for this. We're just getting a Unity product out now, but eventually this is going to be built out in Unreal Engine. But yeah, I'm working with 4 or 5 other guys. Like I said, based New Zealand, Australia. We're all NFTers. A couple of them have worked on, I don't know how familiar your viewers are with like BSV, but got, some guys that worked with Hand Cash as well. And yeah, I mean, it really just started with, one guy's like the visionary. He's like the trading card guru, and kind of just, worked on these champions and stuff. And then it started from there. And then we built this team out. It was just me and one other guy. And yeah, worked our way up to getting these cards. And there's a lot into it. With a card game, you can't just put random numbers on the card. It's got to kind of be balanced or the whole thing's wrecked. So a lot of testing beforehand. And yeah, just made our way here, and just seemed once recursion became possible on Bitcoin, this really became like something that we could do. And, we're just 4 or 5 guys like playing card games and just wanted to get something out on Bitcoin, man. I mean, it's not, doesn't have to be so serious all the time. Just want something fun for everybody, especially like in the current market that we're in.
Yeah. Sometimes simple is better. Ordinals Wallet, OrdSwap, Unisat, I think are also all from the Bitcoin SV community. So many of them are, I've had a handful of those guys actually on here as well. So a lot of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I watched your episode with Billy. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of SV builders in the space. So the art then, I'm going to pull the screen up here while I'll let you answer this. The art for it, it looks like Magic the Gathering, kind of looks like Spells of Genesis, right? Champions of the Otherworldly. Tell us where the art is drawn inspiration from, and how long did it take to create something with 30,000 ordinals? That's a lot of art.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like 151 champions. So, so it's 151 champions, and then there's duplicates, of those getting to the 30,000. So some of the cards, there's, we have 8 angels in the set. There's only 3 of those each out of, the 30,000. But yeah, like the main thing is the vision, the creator, he's a huge Hearthstone player. So anyone who's played Hearthstone, you should like pop on this and you'll know, how to play pretty much immediately. But that being said, it's all card games. We're trying to, take pieces from all of them and put them here on Bitcoin.
So here I've pulled up the card, and it's separated by about 10 different characteristics. Can you take us through just what all these characteristics mean? Which ones are important? Which one's for gameplay? Which one is just for kind of the aesthetics?
Yeah, I mean, all of them are kind of important. So, but the main thing really at this point is just like the abilities. So there's like, 12 different abilities that can be used, and they have different effects on the opponent. This one that you have pulled up is Guard. So basically his ability is that no other abilities can be used on him. Then we just go around the card. We'll start in the top right. You've got the mana cost. So pretty much you start the game with 1 mana. It's a turn-based game. Every time you end the turn, you get another mana. And then it's spent when you put these cards in the game. So, this card itself is probably, the best card in the game. It's not like an angel. It's a top tier card. And then we go down. Yeah, you've got health. So, when a card attacks another card, it's taking HP from its health, and it's also dealing out that attack damage to the opponent, the card that's attacking it as well. Then, simple things like the NFT degens really got into, they just won't care about the rarity. A lot of people that were like minting these seemed like they weren't interested in playing the game. They just wanted to flip it. So yeah, you can look at the card border. This one's gold. So you can tell that there's like less than 50 of these out of the 30,000. We've got a silver border and then just a common border as well.
Yeah, the art does look good. It does look like a standard kind of trading card game. Looks a little bit like Magic the Gathering. And then here, these are the, 12 different... What is this? The 12 different manas?
Those are the 12 different abilities. So at the bottom of that other card, it said guard. So yeah, you can look down at guard on the bottom left. This card becomes immune to all offensive abilities. And yeah, every card has an ability. Some of them are none. But abilities, this is really like what the game's all about here. So, you're just combining these different buffs on various cards and stuff. And yeah, the goal of the game is to take your opponent's the player card to 0.
Yeah, so some just to note: Inferno, Whirlwind, Psybeam, Vortex, Earthquake. I tell you, this reminds me of Pokemon over and over. And there's even evolutions too. So to get to an evolution, I'm assuming you just have to earn something like XP or like battle experience, and then over time it becomes a different card.
No, so the evolutions are actually in game. So, you're building your decks from 25 to 30 cards. Like say, let's look at the Treyguard, for example, that little family. So say you had a Treybi that was in the game, and then, in your hand, you had a Tradier. So you would be able to play this Tradier into the field for free, evolving, the champion, but you sacrifice the previous evolution. So it's basically evolving in this game is basically just a way to enter a card into the game for 0 mana, which is, huge. There's a lot of the big plays, can swing the games here when you're using 0 mana to get these powerful cards into the game.
It's interesting. I guess this adds a different dynamic to the game with ordinals, right? With non-fungible assets. So if something like that happens, is that like an off-chain kind of gameplay mechanism where it becomes something else? Because obviously you can't change the card since it's already inscribed on Ordinal, correct?
Correct. Yeah, no, none of the cards are being changed at all. You have to own both the cards to even be able to use them. So, right now the game is in sandbox mode. So everyone has access to all 151 cards. You can build your deck however, and then, we're kind of leaving it like this for a week or two so people can, pick their way through the secondary, try out different cards that they want and go from there. But yeah, as far as what's on chain and what's not, really, we're just, using these APIs to just verify that the holders actually own the NFTs. So, a lot of this leads to, obviously we can put a lot of this on chain, but at the beginning, we're really just focused at running this as a card game. We want to attract, not Bitcoin people. We want to attract people outside of Bitcoin that are just interested in trading card games. So we really don't want to be throwing Bitcoin and blockchain in people's faces right off the bat. And, just want it to be like a, trading card experience. We're hoping to get this to the point where, we're competing with Hearthstone and some of these big time games.
Yeah, I agree. You're taking something similar to the Reddit route, right? Where it just kind of sits into the background, and those who want to look deeper, they'll realize that, oh, hey, this is on a blockchain. Because as we know, right, there's still a negative stigma surrounding NFTs from all the speculation of the last bull run that really pushes people away.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, gamers, everyone's been trying to get blockchain gaming, but an actual gamer that's not interested in Bitcoin, they pretty much hear Bitcoin or blockchain and they just kind of, turn away.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm gonna pull this up. It looks like somebody else is playing, and then we'll go into it as well. Is this this that I have on the screen here is the deck builder. So if I owned, we'll say 50 cards.
Sure.
When this screen pops up, you choose 25 cards to enter the battle, essentially.
Exactly. So there's going to be a connect wallet option. You're going to be able to connect your, Ordinals wallet. It'll pull your .sats or .xbd name into the game, for example. And then the only cards that'll be displayed in this deck builder will be the ones that you actually own. Correct.
Interesting. And then the next stage after that is then the actual battle itself, correct?
Yep.
Let's see if this actually pops up here or not. Oh, that's just the deck builder. Cool. So I'm going to open this up then. Here I've pulled up the website, right? You have play now, right? Learn to play. What's this? The champions decks.
I don't know. People are familiar with the Pokédex. So you click on that. There's all the champions. This is currently only linked up to the hand cash wallet, but it shows you the floor price of each one of these champions with a link directly to buy that champion.
Yeah, for those that might be confused, it's actually denominated in BSV and not even BTC. That might annoy some people, but here we are.
We're working on it, and the BSV got crazy wrecked. We only launched 10K cards on there, so now the floor prices are ridiculous. It costs you thousands of dollars to build a game on, build a deck on BSV, whereas BTC currently you can build a deck reasonable. There's a lot of stuff on the floor.
Why do you think that is, that the BSV community gobbled it up so quickly?
We're not sure. We didn't, we initially were just going to launch with Ordinals wallet, and hand cash, or the people from the BSV community reached out to us. We weren't, familiar with how many people or how receptive it would be, but we were impressed, man. We launched it on BSV and it minted out in 30 minutes. They had the packs working. So there was 25 packs, 10 packs, 5 packs, and it just went crazy. And a lot of the players we have, we're getting a couple hundred matches a day. And, a lot of them are from BSV. They're playing, they're kind of dominating the BTC people that just got into it a few days ago. But
Wow, I wonder if you guys are the first kind of cross Bitcoin fork collection. I guess would be the best way to put it, right? Because you have so those 10,000 were actually minted on SV. They weren't minted on Bitcoin.
Yes, on SV, one sat Ordinals over there versus just Ordinals here on BTC. So the Ordinals protocol of BSV, and actually we've been reached out by people from Litecoin as well, their Ordinals protocol, Dogecoin, wants some cards and stuff like that. I'm not too familiar with the markets and how many people are, using Litecoin Ordinals, but we're open, there has to be more cards that enter the system for, us to be a successful trading card game.
It's a very unique value prospect. So I actually was very early to Litecoin Ordinals and Dogecoin Ordinals because the company I work for, we kind of have to participate in kind of the early emerging protocols. Both of those ecosystems are getting there. I would say they're probably, maybe a few weeks to a month away from having, pretty efficient tooling. But having the ability to deploy on these other chains, and acknowledge that they're all proof of work chains, right? To me, I don't think that has been pursued yet. So you guys might be the first ones going down that road, for good or right, for better or for worse. It's still to be determined. I guess this next question comes from just a sense of mentality, or value is, when you first created this, you've been in Bitcoin, the culture of Bitcoin, it's changing, but there's still this kind of ethos of Bitcoin is the only, right? There's no second best, as Michael Saylor would say.
Yeah.
But the ordinal eco or community generally has come from a lot of different chains, but the overall culture has not been changed forcefully yet. Why go down this path of deploying on other chains rather than staying in this kind of absolutist Bitcoin only or Ordinals only kind of ecosystem?
Yeah, basically, we are taking the route that, like, who are we to say, which Bitcoin's the only one? All these different communities have different reasons for why, this one's going to be successful or this one's not. We're just, focused on being like the best trading card game that we can be. And, yeah, it doesn't really matter like where the cards are at. People can build these powerful decks. However, and it seemed like a lot of people from BTC as well, once they joined the Discord, were going over, like, had no problem going and buying some cards off BSV. And that being said, pretty much everyone from BSV was minting the BTC cards as well. It's like, they cared just about the game more than like what chain it's on. And we're adding the ability also to, you can connect the hand cash wallet, connect your Ordinals wallet, connect the Litecoin, and then use cards from all those chains in your own deck. It doesn't have to just be chain specific. So, you can get some deals over on Bitcoin, or if we do end up doing Litecoin, try to mint some cards that you don't have or whatever.
If you guys need to get in connection with the wallet people for both of those, I can help you. Is that all it is? Just a simple wallet plugin to play all these together?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. Just an API to verify that, that wallet address is holding the cards.
Awesome. Yeah. If you need those connections, let me know afterwards. So I've pulled up here, right? Game.co and battles.cloud, right? Champions of the Otherworldly Magic. Here, this is the alpha version. So by the time this releases, who knows what other places in. It just says play and decks. I'm going to start on decks first. These are all just cards that were given to me because this is an example. So just to go through, you basically are just going to pick 25. Is there any strategy to this in terms of which ones I should choose? Right, there's numbers everywhere, different types of elements. What would your strategy be? And help me walk through this.
Yeah, massive amount of strategy. I mean, you've got those 12 abilities, so you're like wanting to build, a mix of these cards. You've got to have low mana cards because those are the only cards you can play at the beginning of the game. Yeah, I mean, if you just kind of want to scroll back to like page 3 or 4, I'll just like build you a deck quickly. Otherwise, we'll be here. So let's throw in a couple those flamies. Do like 2 of those
down here.
Yep, right there. Just throw in 2 of those. Oh, you got to click the plus button on the left to build it. Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Throw them in. That's fine. Next page. I'm just going to kind of throw in a bunch of these abilities so you can see the visual effects and different things we've got. Yeah. So throw in like 3 of those Eagleons. Those are super, some of the most powerful low mana cards. Go to the next page.
And you have to start with low mana because basically you're a beginner. And so you have to grow it over time.
No, you don't have to start with low mana, but so when the game is started, you only have 1 mana. So you're only able to pretty much play 1 mana cards on the first turn. A lot of people don't play any cards and just end it to build up their mana to 2, and then they'll throw in a 2 mana card on the next turn. Throw in like 3 of those Stonas, a Damash over there. Yeah, go to the next page, see what we got. Next. Yep, throw in like a couple of those Frost Hogs.
I like that guy. I just like how he looks.
Yeah, next page. Yeah, so 2 of those monks. Yeah, and then put in an Uga Chief as well.
Uga Chief. Who named these? You name these, Miles?
I did not name them. No, it's just, the Hearthstone Pro. He came through and this is all his work. Throw in a couple Leafies there. Next.
Well, I'm glad you guys didn't just go with the standard apes. That seems to be very common across.
Throw in a couple Nordies. Next.
Looks like a street shark.
Throw in a couple Trolleys there.
All right,
a Cactisaurus, 2 of those.
We got 1 more we need.
Keep going. Yeah, you can. So there's some strategy too. You can build a deck of just 25, or you can go all the way up to 30. Kind of the strategy there is there's less cards to draw because it's just random. Every turn you're getting a new card put into your deck. So some people prefer 25 card decks. Go to the next page. Throw in an Inchy there.
Inchy. There we go. All right, we get to play. Let's get on with the show. I guess we're going.
All right, man. Let's do it.
We're going less with strategy, and we're just going all in. So I'll hit save right here, and then where do I go?
He just hit the back button over there.
Play.
Go to. Oh yeah, you can go back. I'll actually play in a game. It'll just be slower.
Okay, cool.
I'll match up against you. Yeah. So there should be a game open. Go to find multiplayer for Jake. Yep. There you go.
Oh, fuck yeah. Let's go.
Sweet. All right. So it's my turn. Like I don't even have any 1 mana cards in my deck. So I'm just ending it, sending it over to you. You could throw that Nordy out. So any card that's like glowing blue means you have enough mana to throw it in. So right now, just that Nordy. So go ahead, drag him in there. Oh.
Or do I have to do it over here maybe?
No, it should just be dragging. Yeah, right in the middle. It's not working for you.
Let's see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just took a second.
In turn there. All right, so I'm going to throw in this monk. His ability is called Rush. So every card that goes in has to wait a turn to attack. So you couldn't attack with that Nordy on the first turn. I'm throwing in this monk who has an ability called Rush who can attack on the first turn, and I'm just going to like take you out. Boom.
Okay, I got a few cards I could play. Here we go. I got Leafy, Frosthog. I'm going to go with this Cactosaurus.
You can, I would throw that Frosthog in and just kill that monk, you know. He has a rush ability, so now drag him right into that monkey. Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Boom, dead. Boom. Okay. So he takes damage as well, but you know, monk's a much more powerful card, so that's fine. So in turn.
So when that was like a kamikaze right there. To exactly, sacrifice myself, I'm like a pawn on the chessboard.
Yep. Make sure you hit that in turn there. Bad. Cool, and then.
And so this is a 3, right? Because it's the top right number. This means that they have 3 mana.
That means it cost me 3 mana to put it in. It's actually a 5 attack and a 5 health there. So you can see by the 2 numbers. Once it's in the field, the mana doesn't matter. It only uses that mana 1 turn. Yeah, here.
So here I'm pretty much, this is the only thing I could do is match you with the Cactosaurus, but everything else does not compare to it. So is there any strategy of playing a card that has weaker strength and defense?
Yeah, definitely. Like you're not forced into playing a cards. I would throw out that Cactosaurus right now though. Just in the turn. But yeah, so as you can see, like on your screen there, so my little profile, the little red god up there has 60 health. So neither of us have, you know, attacked that yet. I'm going to throw this in. So that has an Inferno effect. So Inferno just randomly damages 3 cards on the board for like 1 to 9 damage. Now you can see, like, I'm going to attack your player. So you'll see its health go down by like 5 right there. Boom. So that's the goal of the game, is to get that player card to go to 0. That's how you win.
All right, here. Yeah, we'll play a few more cards. So let's see. You got 5 and 5. I got a monkey, Stana.
Yeah, so if you throw out the Stana or that Trolley is pretty much a kamikaze card because it just automatically kills himself, but it does 2 damage to everything on the board. So throw him out there. Boom. And then now just you can end him with that monk if you want.
So how many cards can you play at one time? As many as you want?
So it's based off your mana. So yeah, as you can, like, you're out of mana right now. So you used up 3 mana on that turn. So that's all you'll be able to play. So every turn you're gaining more mana. And as you get, now you'll be getting like 4 mana a turn, 5 mana a turn. As you get deeper in the game, you'll start just maxing out like 10 mana. So that's kind of, the strategy is you want these low mana cards so you can play 2 and 3 per turn. So yeah.
Got it. And so up here by you, it says 5 out of 10. That's the mana, right?
Exactly. And now I just used it, so I've got no mana left. So.
Oh, and down here on the bottom right is where it shows me. Okay.
Correct.
Cool. All right. I think I got it. All right. Wow. This card is badass.
Yeah, so he has Life Bloom. So I just threw him out there, used Life Bloom, which adds another, just adds 4 health to any card. I just used it on himself.
All right.
Yeah, I threw that Flammerai out there.
I got a badass. I think he's keep up with you a little bit.
Yeah, no, so he does damage to himself, but yeah, he took 7 health off that guy, so that's not a bad play. But yeah, he unfortunately killed himself. He got a bad roll there.
So what is the rarest card?
Yeah, so one of those, you were scrolling past him on the Twitter. It was like, that green angel. There's only 3 out of 30,000.
Let's see. I think he was somewhere down here. That's okay though.
I know, so as you can see, if you scroll up right there. Oh.
This one? Or right here?
No, keep going down.
Oh, right here.
Right there, yeah. So there's 8 different angels. That's one of them. That's, in my opinion, probably the best card in the game because you can just life bloom itself. So it can be a 9 attack and then a 14 health just right off the bat. But yeah, there's 8 different angels. They're all 3 out of 30,000. So those are just like the easiest to say. Those are the best cards in the game. But yeah, there's others like that Trey guard you were looking at earlier. That's probably the most powerful non-angel champion.
I also want to check on Ordinals Wall because I believe this is where you guys were selling everything, right? I was trying to see what the all-time high price is. Let's see if it verifies over here. God damn it.
I think the highest sell was like a 0.1 or 0.09 BTC.
Let's see. I know you guys have been crushing it here. So COM or COOM. How do you pronounce it? Is it COOM or just COOM?
You can call it Coom. It's Champions of Otherworldly Magic, but yeah, everyone's calling it Coom Battles.
So there you go. You got 2.6 Bitcoin in total volume. So about 77K. You got 4,400 owners, 30K supply, 2,000 sales in about, I don't know, a week or so, maybe.
It launched on last Thursday about 5 o'clock. So we're coming up on a week here this afternoon.
So here we are, the highest selling. The 3 purities for 0.09 Bitcoin, 0.08 Bitcoin, and 0.06. So almost $3,000 for the top selling one. And then there's the Florania one and Ignatius. Excuse me if I get some of these wrong. I don't speak Otherworldly yet.
Yeah, all good.
So why would you say that this purity one is the highest selling in all 3? I'm assuming there's probably only 3 of these.
Yeah, there's only 3 out of 30,000, and it's pretty much because its ability is Bless, which adds like 3 attack. So you can throw that in there, and it becomes like a 12 attack card. You only have 60 health to start the game, so that's taken out like 20% of health there. And yeah, I don't know if you've seen the stuff on Twitter. Post Malone just bought that One Ring card for like 2.4 million yesterday or a few days ago. And this would be Purity would be like our version of like those cards. So yeah, the Black Lotus, Magic the Gathering, things like that.
Yeah, even the FD card on for Spells of Genesis, which was the first one, sells regularly for about 50 ETH or about 3 Bitcoin regularly. And that's kind of theirs the same as the FD card or the Satoshi card. So those earliest ones and the rarest ones, especially in the first generation, tend to hold and maintain.
Throw that Eaglon out there. It's got a whirlwind ability. So drag it onto my card and it'll send it back to my deck. So yeah, that's, can obviously see some strategy with those kind of cards.
This is where I can attack you now, right? Because I got mana left.
You can put other cards in the game, but no, he can just use his ability. He'll have to wait till next turn to attack. So yeah, you would need a character with rush ability to attack right when he's entered into the field. So yeah, right here, I'd throw that like Flammerai in there probably, and that Nordy.
All right, we're bad. We got 3 on the battlefield. We are absolutely ready to take over. And what does the Z mean? It means that you've expanded your amount of attacks.
Yeah, it means they're asleep, or you can do other things like I can use Blizzard and like freeze your card, and then that it just basically means they can't currently attack.
Got it.
So yeah, I'm gonna throw this Kamikaze out there. He's gonna take out one of your cards. Let's see. Send this guy back, and we'll just end it there.
Just getting obliterated. So how many Have you guys been able to see on your back end how many games have been played already, at least in this testing phase?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked this morning. It was like we had over 2,000 games though, between single player and multiplayer. The game's been live. We've just been improving every day, but it's been out for about a month just in this beta stage. We're just, pushing out new deployments every day.
I'm just throwing people out there. I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah, so then you got to use that on the Stona.
On the Stona?
Yeah, that one to the left.
All right, here. So I'm hitting my own person?
Yeah, so it's going to heal your own person. Oh. So yeah, you see that just added more health to that card. You probably would have liked to have used that on like a more powerful card because he only has one attack. So, but yeah, same deal here.
Let's see. Let's do it here.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we are ready. We'll do one more round of this, and then we'll get back to some of the mechanics.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, you burnt through your deck here. So. Yeah, that's also just another strategy. You want to be careful how many cards you're using because you're only drawing like one card per turn. So.
And so once you run out of cards, if I go through the 25, then that's it. Then you're just kind of on your own, and that's to the end of the battle.
Yeah, pretty much. Like when you run out of cards, you're gonna just die very quickly.
Yeah.
So you want to end it before then for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you can throw that Frost Hog out there, kill my big powerful guy. Yep. So that's one with the rush ability that can attack right when he's entering.
Got it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I guess after you get past the beta phase here, I'll close this out so we could resume our conversation. So once you're back, or once you're past this beta phase and you have actual ordinals being placed into this game, being used, what are you guys looking for? Like, how do you know when to advance to the next stage, that the game is efficient, and like, how do you encourage or incentivize other players to participate?
We really want to like dive into like the competitive side of this, so we're going to be like funding, like putting up, tournaments and stuff where it's free to enter, small, and then we offer prizes. We'll have like tournaments of champions where like if you win a tournament, you get entered into this big one for like $5,000 prize, something like that. But like kind of the play to earn aspect. But that being said, like the wallet connect and all of that should be ready like tonight, if not tomorrow. So like you'll be able to play with your actual cards, and then the next step after that is like ranked and matchmaking and all that.
And as a team who's now creating a game that's actually going to be used, it's a digital game, right? It's a little bit different from, we'll say, like Pokemon or some of these other card games where the physical card is there and they have to protect it, right? So that it maintains its value, but you need to use it in the game. I know this has been a predicament that some of the newer physical card games get into, where a lot of the players don't want to use those rare cards because they don't want it to get damaged, right? So here it's a little bit of a different situation where the cards are always going to be in this pristine value, at least for now, until something weird happens. I don't know, in this space, maybe you can have tainted cards at some point into the future. I guess for you guys, you have to just look out on not diluting the supply, which is something that's it's a continuous conversation, because we live in this world of speculation in crypto, where everyone is here to make money, but also some people are here to play and to have fun. How do you guys plan to kind of balance this back and forth between keeping the cards valuable, but also increasing gameplay and making it more efficient for users to participate?
So the first thing, you mentioned like the pristine value. So yeah, like with Bitcoin, all the cards will obviously be in pristine value, but we have the ability to like have data attached to these cards. So some of the, like that purity, for example, there could be a purity in the future that was used to like win a big tournament or make like a big play. And then maybe that's more valuable to people. There also could be a purity that's maybe never been used in a game or something, and that has some value to people, something like that. So we have all that where the card itself's not going to diminish at all, but yeah, there's like different things of that nature that can go into it. And then that's the supply thing has been like a big topic. That's the first, FUD storm that we got in here was like, oh my God, Ordinals Wallet tweeted out like, oh, we're going to mint seven, they were
I
like
did see
trolling
that.
70,000 more. And then the Discord just like went crazy, like everyone fudding it. But yeah, I mean, we're on the narrative of like, we want to be a trading card game. Like even like right now, like somebody who, wants to come and play the game right now, it's kind of discouraging that there's, no packs available to buy. You're going to now have to go get all these scalped cards of other people that bought them. And it's, hundreds of dollars to build a deck. And that kind of really like destroys the trading card game aspect of it. Like imagine being interested in Pokemon and you couldn't just go buy a booster pack. You had to go on some website and buy individual cards from like, speculators and stuff. So, like there has to be more cards put in the game. We really don't think it's not like a traditional NFT project where it's like, diluting it. Cause yeah, the common cards for sure, those prices are go down, but that's fine for us. Like, honestly, Turdy is the most common card. Like we would be happy if that was the cheapest ordinal that you could get, in the whole ecosystem. Like we're fine with having it be a trash card, but the Trey guards and the Angels, like say we minted 1 million cards, there'd still only be 30 Angels in there, and those are going to have value no matter what. All these top cards that are good in game are going to have value to people that are actually playing. So yeah, there definitely is some balance, and we're working it through in the Discord with the community and people that are playing. But yeah, to be a trading card game, there has to be more cards. Pretty much there should always be like booster packs available to buy. So that's kind of strategy. But right now we just want to get the game to a playable point where we can start running these tournaments. But yeah, there's going to definitely have to be more cards on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, it completely makes sense. When you look at Pokemon, I use that example. We're around the same age as something that's relative, probably one of the most popular trading card games. They go through in generations, right? It was generation 1 was the first 151, which actually I just realized is what you guys did, 151. Kind of ironic, just realized that. If when you do happen to go to the next version, is it a generation of new characters? Is it something that's more of just a steroid version of the character beforehand, the relative system? I'm sure you probably have to add some sort of like storyline narrative to it as well to make it all seem like it's part of the same world. What is kind of like the initial thought about that transition?
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple different routes. We've leaked a couple, skins. So, I mean, and also like with the metadata, we're putting in this is a second generation card versus a first generation. So they're always going to be able to be distinguished that way. But yeah, I mean, like we could have that tray guard, for example, like then the next collection, it could be like a Christmas tree or, it could be all these different themes, and it's just going to be easy for you to tell. Like I think Pokemon, when they launched the first generation, it was about 1 million cards. So they minted 10,000, or they sold 10,000 of pretty much each card, all the commons and stuff. Obviously, there was only a couple hundred Charizards and stuff like that. But then Pokemon Unlimited came out, and all that was removed pretty much was that little first generation stamp. And that's kind of how collectors like differentiated them. So there's that whole aspect where we could, reskin or sell more champions in the future. But yeah, this next second generation mint, like where it's going to be pretty much all 151 new champions. We can add spells, artifacts, there's a whole just endless possibilities of like things we can do with the future. But yeah, we're keeping in mind the collector's value, and we're not here, there's just no reason really for us to like mint these same cards ever again. We can reskin them up or come up with new champions, whatever.
You mentioned earlier in the conversation that there's a bigger vision, even outside of kind of this 2D like trading card game. What is that? Or at least give us a little bit of a sneak peek into kind of the thought behind like, how do you move this past just a 2D trading card game?
I mean, it's very similar to like Pokemon. It started out as like a trading card game, and then we're like I mentioned before, like the main guy on this is like a crazy Unreal Engine dev. So should have a sneak peek of like some 3D Ugas and like these different characters where, yeah, it just becomes something other than a trading card game where you're walking around this world and like, Pokemon Go stuff, like all of that stuff is possible like on Bitcoin now with these connected things. And like that's kind of the vision. The trading card aspect can just be one arm of this project, whereas these champions can become 3D characters, and there's just all sorts of stuff we can do. And yeah, we're Pokemon players and we followed all that stuff, and so it's just they've built some of the roadmap that we're interested in, and yeah, it's just like how do we do this on Bitcoin now is our biggest thing.
I did read an article, it was maybe like 2 months ago, that the most valuable IP brand in the world is actually Pokemon. It's ahead of Disney, it's ahead of Mickey Mouse, it's ahead of everything. And it all started because of that card game. And it's still a large majority of its revenue, but it's also now split into books and comics and movies and games and all kinds of microtransactions.
We have a bunch of lore coming out like on these actual champions. We have these things called Otherworldly worlds that'll, each champion set comes from this specific world and it's going to have like backstory on it and things like that. But yeah, just a fun fact, there's like 5.9 billion Pokemon cards in circulation currently. So, that's, as you can see, there just has to be a ton of cards to like actually be a trading card game. So they started off with just 1 million on that first gen, and then now they're up to 5.9 billion. So, yeah, plenty of directions to go.
Moving past kind of, the champions of the Otherworldly and just looking at the ordinal space to begin with, why choose Bitcoin Ordinals to do this project? And then what is your opinion moving forward of the ecosystem, where at the time of us recording this conversation, the morale is quite low because just the whole entire crypto NFT sector is just down horrifically?
Yeah, basically like, why Bitcoin? The market's huge, and basically the thing is like, why not Bitcoin? Like I said, once Recursion came out, it's like, this just needs to be on Bitcoin. A trading card game is just like a layup. I feel like a lot of this stuff is, Ordinals introduce like a new, energy into the space, and then, to get maybe people outside of Bitcoin interested in Bitcoin because things, could be done on it. And then, now we're just like getting more niche and niche and niche. Like Bitmap, I understand, like I've got a bunch of Bitmaps, I get it, but like trying to, tell my wife about Bitmap or something, like it's just we're just like making products now that are only interesting to us in the Bitcoin world. And even like Bitmap Valley or whatever. It's like, I don't feel like that appeals to people that don't know what Bitcoin is. It appeals to me because I'm interested in Bitmap and all that. But, this trading card game like appeals to people that don't care about Bitcoin and are just interested in playing and stuff, especially if like we can get the price point right and things like that. Bitcoin's just the biggest market. There are some issues. Initially we were minting 100K of these cards. But the UTXO issues and stuff like Ordinals wallet, so we had to reduce this to 30. So it's like not, all the way there, but like I said, who are we to say which blockchain is which? And if, there's people that we think like trading card games on Bitcoin, then like we'll put some cards on there and like, let's play.
Over diluting in a bear market where there isn't enough participants, I've seen really, really it's prevented a lot of projects from taking off, right? Because you just want to get it out as much as possible. But doing this in tranches and labeling it by series editions, whatever you classify it as, is probably a good move. And also your early collectors who are here when there is no liquidity, that get to, follow you throughout your journey and be a part of it. They'll definitely be very happy about it. One more final question, regarding recursion. You've brought this up multiple times now. How has the champions of the Otherworldly Magic leveraged recursion for the project itself?
Yeah, so before recursion, like if we wanted to mint 30,000 cards, like we would have to inscribe like 30,000 cards. So the benefit here is we only have to upload the 151 champions, and then we can use recursion to just mint, an HTML. that's referring to each of these. And especially in the trading card aspect versus an NFT, you can't have duplicates in the NFT world, but in the trading card game, like duplicates are a must. So, I mean, it really, brought the price point down of us like actually able to do a trading card game economically down. So that was the power of like recursion there for us. It was like, oh, okay, like we can do this, put it on chain for, I don't know, 5-10 grand or something. And then, sell as many of, refer to those as many as we want until we ran into the UTXO issue. But yeah.
I even saw Ordinal's wallet come out with their own UTXO management software as well. So it probably stemmed from you guys. So solving or fixing two problems kind of with one project. Very great to see. As we as the project progresses, have you guys considered anything about interoperability with potentially other projects? When you look at the history of NFTs and on Counterparty, there's Spells of Genesis had interoperability, with Rare Pepe, and Saratobi had interoperability with Spells of Genesis. And they were able to use these different tokens within each other's games or within each other's projects. Have you guys considered anything like that, and the amount of opportunity that can exist on Bitcoin because of its simplistic nature of just being a non-Turing complete blockchain?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with those examples that you threw out specifically, but yeah, we've been contacted by a lot of projects. I mean, yeah, we're interested in collabing or, working with some of these other projects. There's a lot of like cool stuff we can do. We can have, limited edition sets that are, Pixel Pepe skins or something like that. There's just a lot of different directions that we can go. And yeah, anyone, DM us, like we're open to anything. We have Bitmap Valley. I brought up a little while ago. We've talked with them. I'm working with them. They're talking about playing the game inside the Bitmap Valley and all of that. So yeah, no, we're definitely open to that. And that's definitely on the horizon.
Well, I'm glad we got to do this and walk through the game. As I said, I had minted, I think like 10 or 15. I didn't realize I need 25, so I'm gonna have to go out and buy some now. That was my mistake, but it was a fun mechanic. And again, I tweeted about it saying that it felt different from everything else. So I will be following along and playing, is not as much as I am a gamer, but I think you guys may be spearheading this kind of ordinal gaming movement. At least now that seems to be where the attention is. I've seen a lot of projects come or implement like kind of more complex games, but this is just simple enough for everyone to understand. Even my mom and dad could probably figure this out at some point, barring just opening up the screen and clicking play, not having to actually go buy it. Might be a little bit of a different story, but I applaud you guys for doing this and taking it on. And I'm excited to see where you go, and you have a fan in me. So appreciate you, Miles, for coming on, and looking forward to seeing where the next part of this journey goes.
I appreciate that, Jake. Yeah, I mean, the cards are live on Ordinal's wallet now, and then Magic Eden should have the filters live in the next day or two. So that's going to make, getting through that marketplace a lot easier. There's still plenty of cards out there on the secondary. So appreciate you having me on, dude, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for listening and watching. We'll catch you next time.